thanks for agreeing to set up this interview. As you know, we only have a short amount of time, so let's go ahead and get started right away. Now, I know that you've been involved in some work on community issues. Can you tell me what attracted you to the community issue that you chose at the beginning of the semester?
The community issue that I had selected in the beginning of the semester for COMM class was animal testing. And the reason I had selected this was because junior year in high school, this is the topic I used for my junior research paper. And going into my junior year research paper, I had little to no knowledge on animal testing. I knew what happened, but I didn't know the severity of it and what went into animal testing. Learning that hundreds of thousands of millions of animals each year in labs get burned, crippled, poisoned, and abused, and learning what these animals go through really touched my heart and made me passionate about something I didn't know I was going to be passionate about. So coming into comm class, when they asked me to do a community issue, I thought animal testing would be great for me because not only am I passionate about it, but I had some knowledge about it a little bit coming into Comm 10, so I wouldn't say it was easy, but having some knowledge definitely helped me a little bit, I'd say, with the research and stuff that I went with.
Okay, thank you. Now, your materials also said that you were involved in a community issue team project that focused on a call to action. Can you share with me what call to action your team put forward and why you chose that call to action?
For sure. This project consisted of me and one other person. We actually, for the topic, ended up using hers because I didn't really know much about this and I wanted to get educated on something I didn't really know much about. So we ended up doing her topic, which was on veterans and the mental health they have when they come back from Vietnam War and how they're very traumatized and how it's very difficult for them to get help around here, proper help, proper assistance. And due to the trauma in their head, it's also very difficult for them to get help. So the call to action we focused on this specific speech was if you're a loved one or a friend of someone who is going through this, who comes back and you see a change in them or they're having trouble finding assistance, to not only bring this upon people, but to help them get assistance, because this is very important, and I learned that. Going into the speech, I didn't know much about it, and learning about this was very intriguing for me, so I had a lot of fun with this project and speech, and overall, I think we did really good on it.
I see. Now, if I were to ask the other members of your team what they think your biggest strength is, what do you think they would say, and why do you think they would say it?
If I were to say what my partner would characterize me as is one of my biggest strengths would probably be hardworking. And I know this is a very basic characteristic to give myself, I know, but when it comes to group projects, I'm very hardworking. I've never been that type to do all the work, and I've never been that person to make the other person do all the work, because both ends I feel that's unfair. So when it comes to group projects, we set deadlines, we get them done by the deadlines, we take the work and we split them individually to make sure that the work is split individually and making sure everyone is doing the proper amount of work. And not only that, but when it comes to projects, not only group projects, but even single projects, I like to do things to the best of my ability. I want a good grade, they want a good grade. So when it comes to group projects, I'm very, very, very hardworking because I want a good grade. And luckily for me, I was partnered with someone who also has that right mindset. So we did very good on this speech because we're both very hardworking. I would also characterize Gwen as hardworking as well. So this is what I would say she would say I am, is hardworking.
Okay, great. What for you was the most challenging thing about working with your team?
When it comes to group projects, there comes challenges. You go to school, you're a full-time student, you have jobs, and you also have a life. So it's very hard scheduling issues, scheduling-wise, to schedule meetings and get-togethers and when things should be done. Luckily for me, I only had one group member, and we've been very close since high school, so contacting each other wasn't an issue. We had all of our contact info, and it was easy for us both to connect and talk to each other. But when it comes to groups and group work, definitely scheduling is one of the most difficult things. Another difficult thing is having an open mind. You know, it's very important to have an open mindset and be open to different ideas because people aren't the same and your mind doesn't work the same and you both like to express your opinions and your ideas in different ways. So when it comes to a group project, you must be open-minded. I was very open-minded because I compromised in using her topic. So overall, we faced the challenges pretty well. Another challenge that we specifically faced was actually the day of our speech. I actually had a family issue. So when things like this come up, they're not fun, neither for the family member, for me, or for my group member, because I didn't want it to hurt our grades. So when things like this come up, you just have to figure it out professionally, email your professor. You know, we did it on a different day and everything worked. But when things like this happen, you just have to try to stay calm and handle it in the most professional way possible because these things unfortunately do come up.
Thank you. Okay, last question. In 30 seconds or so, tell me what your biggest takeaway was from COMM 110 this semester. What will stick with you and be useful to you?
I had speech classes in high school, so I've always been comfortable with speeches. And the biggest thing I took away from them is, you know, impromptu, learning to be on my feet. But I think with COMM 110, what I took away from this was having the ability to take one topic and making many different speeches out of it, because this can come in very handy for interviews or whatnot. And also, my impromptu also improved too, you know, thinking on my feet. And I think this class was very helpful due to the fact I'm wanting to be a teacher someday. I have to be good at speaking and thinking on my feet, and in my opinion, COMM 110 definitely improved those skills for me, and I learned a lot, and I liked this class a lot. So, yeah, overall, I think that I learned how to think on my feet more and express my ideas in different ways with the same topic.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. We'll probably be in touch with you in the next few weeks or so. Take care.
Thank you.